Coming up on Mountain News this morning, we continue to monitor fires in eastern Kentucky. And a Perry County student is asking for donations as he strives to help others during their time of need.
Dedicated to eastern and southern Kentucky, this is WYMT Mountain News This Morning.
Good morning, I'm Olivia Calfee. The time is 6:30 on November 13th. Now let's check in with Chief Forecaster Brandon Robinson for a look at your forecast this morning. And once again, Brandon, we're seeing that dry air outside and really not a great chance of rain till later in the week.
Later in the week, unfortunately. So again, very important, even though it's going to look nice, Olivia, to pay very close attention because we've got several counties under total burn bans, and still this morning, days later, 17 active fires still burning right now across the region. But the temperatures are the big story right now. It is 28 in Irvin, 27 in Clintwood, and everybody else is in the 30s except for Jackson. They are at 40 degrees. Pikeville's close at 39, 33 London Corbin Airport, 32 Williamsburg, Middlesboro, Hazard, 31 in Manchester, and 36 in Harlan. 12-hour planner for today. We're going in the right direction with the temperatures at least. We'll see lots of sunshine. If you have a little bit of wildfire smoke, you could see a little bit of a haze in your region, but we're heading towards 64 today, which is several degrees above average. Sunset tonight, 5:24. Olivia?
All right, thank you, Brandon. And as he was just talking about, the region has been battling forest fires, and this upcoming week the fight will continue. Kentucky Division of Forestry officials say that the fires have already caused extensive damage, burning more than 20,000 acres. And because of the severity, fire crews from other states have been called in to help with extinguishing the flames. And last Thursday, Governor Beshear also declared a state of emergency.
These fires are being spread and being worsened by the current weather. I know we did get some rain recently, but it was not enough to really bring us out of this drought period. There are too many local fire departments to mention that, have helped us, especially with structure protection. Kentucky Division of Forestry does rely a lot on these volunteer fire departments to help us protect those structures.
As fire crews continue to work tirelessly, they are asking that everyone try to be aware of flames and possible hazards. You can find a full list of counties under a burn ban on our website, WYMT.com. The Wayne County Sheriff's Office has arrested 4 women in Monticello. On Friday, officers received reports of vandalism. 3 of the cases were in Monticello, and 1 case was outside of the city near Highway 90. After an investigation, officers were able to identify 4 suspects. 3 of the 4 were juveniles, with 1 being an adult. They were all charged with criminal mischief. The 1 adult was also charged with unlawful transactions with minors. Their names have not been released at this time. The Wayne County Sheriff's Office has arrested 3 people in connection to an assault. On Saturday, officers were called to the Mason Green Apartments for the assault of a man and woman. The 2 victims say they were led to a home on Ray Dean Dishman Road by Joshua Jones. When they arrived, a car with another man and woman pulled in behind them. Candace and Christopher Crabtree got out of the car and began assaulting the 2 victims. Jones and Candace and Christopher Crabtree were all taken to the Wayne County Detention Center. The Kentucky Transportation Cabinet announced road work in Morgan County. The work will be overnight for 3 nights beginning this evening and continue through Wednesday evening. This is just west of the intersection of US 460 Main Street and KY 2495 Court Street. Traffic will be moved into 1 lane near mile marker 17.13 in West Liberty. And the Kentucky Transportation Cabinet also announced road work in Perry County. The work will be during the day beginning tomorrow from 8 a.m. until 5 p.m. This is 3 miles south of KY 2446 intersection at Dice. The road will be closed starting at mile marker 6.11. KYTC officials recommend drivers take KY 15, KY 1067, and KY 2446. or Kentucky 80 and Kentucky 1146. The Laurel County Sheriff's Office has arrested a Manchester man for driving under the influence. Lonnie Belt, 46 of Manchester, was arrested on North Laurel Road, 2 miles north of London. Officers were originally called to a business where Belt and another man were reportedly having an altercation. When officers arrived, they were told Belt left the scene. They found him nearby and determined that Belt had driven a car and was under the influence. He was taken to the Laurel County Detention Center. Last night, United Auto Workers across Louisville voted on a deal with Ford. Nearly 9,000 employees at the Kentucky truck plant walked off the job last month. After weeks of striking, Ford made some concessions to the union. They included a more than 30% wage increase, cost of living adjustments, pension multipliers, and the elimination of wage tiers. The polls for UAW Local 862 members to vote on that deal closed at 10 last night. Housing projects continue to be in the works in Breathitt County, which was devastated by the July 2022 flood. Several organizations are pitching in to help rebuild after the flood with the hopes of finding higher ground. Breathitt County Judge Executive Jeff Noble says they continue to make progress every day.
Part of the Samaritan Purse project, which is 14 homes, Peachtree Lane, it has got 5 homes. I think 3 of them's people's already moved in them. Our biggest problem is just finding places to put them throughout a floodplain.
Noble says they are still working with state and federal officials on funding for housing. He says they are looking for small and large spaces. November is National Alzheimer's Disease Awareness Month. Ahead of the holidays, doctors are sharing how to help those with the disease to enjoy the festivities. Dr. Greg Cooper works at the Norton Neuroscience Institute. He says it's important for families to be patient with their relatives who have Alzheimer's. Dr. Cooper recommends keeping a schedule and to try not to overdo big holiday plans, as that could make symptoms worse.
There may be more changes in memory, that our loved ones are more forgetful, they're repeating themselves, they're having more trouble expressing their thoughts, coming up with the words to say. And those may or may not be warning signs of a more serious underlying condition.
There is good news in Alzheimer's treatment. The FDA approved the first drug to treat the disease in July. The flu isn't the only thing you have to worry about this winter season. Kentucky doctors are already starting to see more cases of RSV, a lung disease that affects mostly younger children and older adults. Historically, it has tended to start going up in winter, but for the second year in a row, cases are increasing in early fall. Plus, the virus doesn't just transmit from person to person. It can live on surfaces for up to 10 days. But a doctor with UK Healthcare says it's not the end of the world if you catch it.
In general, most people do well with it. It can make you cough for a long time and kind of make you miserable. And just because you're over 60 doesn't mean you're going to have a bad outcome. What we want to do is really protect those who are most vulnerable. If you get it, I would watch for signs that it is getting worse. Like I would recommend watching for signs of any infection.
Like most other infectious diseases, the best ways to avoid it are to avoid touching your mouth, nose, and face. Wash your hands often and cover your coughs and sneezes. One Perry County student is asking for donations for a cause helping older and younger generations. WYMT's Taylor Wilcox talked to the student about his mission and how people can help.
It is an idea that sparked into Trayton Wood's head after seeing social media posts.
Well, I've seen some stuff on Facebook about you know, families not really having much to eat.
Then he got an idea, collecting donations to give folks in need.
It's mostly non-perishable items and stuff that, you know, kids can snack on and family members just love and all that.
The items will be donated here in Hazard at the Greg and Noreen Wells Hospice Care Center.
So I just thought, you know, hospice is a place where families go when their loved ones are hurting, and so I figured people like that will need like stuff to eat.
The hospice center is near to Wood's heart. He says his family has spent a lot of time in the building.
You know, I've been here a couple of times with family and all that, so I'm just trying to help the younger generation, so, you know, it's a little bit easier on them than it was on me and stuff like that.
Woods plans to deliver his donations on November 15th. In Hazard, Shannon Wilcox, WYMT Mountain News.
Trayton Woods is a junior at Perry Central High School. He said his mom has also been a big part in helping organize donations. Well, what's better than feasting? Watching chefs create the masterpieces. The YWCA in Charleston hosted its foodie feast this past weekend. It was a fresh, modern twist on a conventional Thanksgiving where folks could sample unique creations and traditional favorites made by various chefs. All proceeds from the event will benefit the YWCA Sojourner Shelter for homeless women and families.
So this is unrestricted dollars, so if a child comes in without a coat or without shoes, we can go out and buy them. If a parent gets a job and they need certain color pants or non-skid shoes, we can go out and purchase them. So it's unrestricted dollars that helps benefit. And it's important to note that all the money that is raised here goes right back into our community.
In the last year, YWCA Sojourners provided over 23,000 nights of shelter for over 680 children and adults.
Just after 6:42, we continue to track a little bit of cold out there this morning. This is our Mesonet camera, 7 miles northeast of Somerset in Pulaski County. Not a whole lot going on down that way this morning. And of course, in Somerset, 34. A little chilly this morning. Still 28 Irvin, 27 in Clintwood, 40 in Pikeville and Jackson, and everybody else is in the 30s this morning, at least for the moment. We take you into the future. Another dry spell on the way, but a slow warming trend. Our next best chances for rain come Thursday night into Friday with our next system, so hang in there just a little bit longer, especially for those folks still dealing with those wildfires this morning. Olivia?
Thanks, Brandon, and thank you for joining us. The time is now 6:42. Still to come on Mountain News this morning. We'll take a look at a surprise departure from the list of 2024 presidential hopefuls and where the rest of the Republican field stands now.